This is the 2003 NBA Draft.
Hi everyone, Mike Tirico, along with my buddies Tom Tolbert, Greg Anthony, and Jay Billis. We are joined throughout the night on our draft coverage by a host of people, including Dick Vitale and Jim Gray in Florida and Cleveland. Jimmy with the first pick. Also, we're joined by Michelle Tafoya and Stu Scott here in the draft headquarters. And David
This is considered to be the greatest draft in NBA history, or one of the greatest drafts in NBA history.
Down here in this corner going to be the clock. Who's on the clock? You'll find out here. Bottom of the screen. Who is being selected in the draft, constant draft order. Down this side, what we call the matrix. When it highlights your team, you'll see information. The draft, who's been picked, what picks are coming up, what their free agency situation is, some trivia about the team. You'll also see polls. When you see the word Jay come up in the highlighted box, that's Jay Billis's list of best available players. Jay has scouted many of the players in this draft who will be selected, just like the GMs around the NBA have. The headlines of draft 2003, it starts right at the top. In all likelihood, the first three picks are going to be players age 18 or 19. We've never had the top three under 20 in the history of the NBA draft. The continuing international flavor should be of record proportions this year. 14 is the international record for a draft taken last year. We think it will be more than that tonight. And is this a deep draft? Well, there is strength. Picks 10 through 20. The question is, does he fit your team now? Will you develop him down the line? A developing story on ESPN.com in the last couple of hours regarding Michael Jordan. Ironic on the night LeBron James comes into the league. In the year Michael Jordan came out of the league, Michael is making some news on draft night as the conversations towards Michael's ownership of the Milwaukee Bucks seem to have heated up on the rumor mill. Let's bring in David Aldridge. David, is it any closer or are just the rumors starting to pile on top of each other here on draft night?
Well, Michael, it's close. I mean, there's no question that it's close, but I can tell you, Herb Cole, within the last 2 hours, has let people know, let senior officials around the league know that there's no deal as of yet. Now, does that mean it couldn't change in the next 24 hours or the next week or so? Of course it could change, but the Bucks, who I talked to an hour ago in their war room, say it's full speed ahead. They're going to make the pick. They're going to decide who they want to take. They do not have to run anything past Michael Jordan or any of Michael Jordan's people. They're ready to go.
So in all likelihood, Ernie Grunfeld in Milwaukee will be making this pick. David, the top three have been set for a long time. Doesn't mean it won't be an exciting moment when they're taken, but the hot spot in the draft is Toronto at 4. Are they getting any calls, or are they going to keep the pick?
Well, Mike, they've gotten some calls, but I talked to Toronto about 20 minutes ago. Nothing that really blew their doors off. So as of right now, they're committed to keeping the 4th pick and making a decision on one of the young big men or perhaps TJ Ford.
Oh, Jay Billis, let's talk about those big men. We have Kaman and Bosch. A couple of names have been thrown out there. Explain to us why they are worthy up at the 4 spot.
Well, because they're both extremely talented. It's a question of whether you want to wait or whether you need immediate help. If you're willing to wait for a player to develop, you go with Chris Bosch, because he may have the most potential outside the big three to be great. A very high ceiling. He is skilled, can step away from the basket. A 6'11" left-handed shot blocker, can really change ends. An outstanding passer, rebounds at a very high rate. The only question is he tough enough, and can he put on weight to play inside? Chris Kaman out of Central Michigan, offensively very advanced, can use either hand around the basket and can really score inside, average over 20 points per game, can catch, can run. The question is he tough enough to be able to put on weight, and can he rebound at a high rate, and will he have the pride to really step forward and play defense on the NBA level? I think that he can.
Greg Anthony, there's pressure for a lot of these teams. Do you go up and get a guy who may make an impact on your team right now, especially in some of the conferences where there's wiggle room to get into the playoff picture just like that?
Well, definitely. If you think about that 4th pick and you're talking about the Toronto Raptors, the fact that they can go out and maybe bring in a Chris Bosh or a Chris Kaman. This is a team, although they didn't make the playoffs last year, they're very close. A healthy Vince Carter, a new coach, a new amount of enthusiasm there. You bring in a guy who can score in the paint, that makes you a much more viable product in the Eastern Conference.
And Tom, if you were Toronto, would you add Chris Kaman as a piece at number 4?
Well, that's the great thing about the Eastern Conference. Everybody's close to the playoffs. No one's that far away from the playoffs. Look, their best players are their point guard, Evan Williams, off guard, Morris Peterson, and Vince Carter. You need to get bigger up front. Antonio Davis has been playing out of position at the center. If they get Kaman, look, the Eastern Conference doesn't have powerhouse centers, so you're one leg ahead of everybody else if you do have a center that can get in there, help you on the glass, and score a little bit for you.
And Kaman might be able to come right in. Well, we can't talk about the best players in college basketball during the year without our colleague Dick Vitale, who's joining us from his home.
The picks in this draft that were supposed to go 1, 2, 3 was LeBron game going number 1, Darko Milicic going number 2, and Carmelo Anthony going number 3 to the Denver Nuggets. In which most of this was true, but if there was a redraft, probably Dwayne Wade would be in the mix somewhere there in the top 3 redraft in this draft.
One is Carmelo Anthony. I think Carmelo had experience of playing 36 minutes a night, pressure situations. I think he is going to be a superstar. I think Denver's going to be very fortunate, and I also think down the line, I certainly could comprehend the decision of the Pistons to go for Darko because they need size. But the bottom line is, I think they may come to regret not making that call to Mr. Stern, Carmelo Anthony. And the other kid, I don't want to hear about size. We're not talking the Olympics. We're not talking 100 meters. We're not talking bodybuilding. We're talking basketball. TJ Ford, in today's game, you need an orchestra leader. You need a creator and an innovator. He's all Thomas Edison. I know one thing. He'll go north to south, and guys will not stay in front of him. TJ Ford will improve his shooting. I believe that Ford and Carmelo will be special. Hey, change the name of the NBA from NBA to GBA, the Global Basketball Association.
Well, it is becoming a global game, and David Stern says by 2010, still a likelihood that there will be a team not based in the continental U.S. or North America. That's for down the road. The immediate concern for TJ Ford is, am I going to go 4, 5, 6? Am I going to slide because of the height question? Let's ask him. He's standing by with our Stuart Scott. Stu?
The Naismith and Wooden Award winner, the only freshman to ever lead the nation in assists, and everybody's questioning you. TJ, what goes through your mind when you hear too short, can't shoot?
Well, I just know I always believe in myself, and I don't let anyone just tell me I can't do something. So people say I can't shoot, but I just like to have fun and enjoy the game, and eventually, you know, things will work out the best for me.
What do you feel like you have to prove?
I just have to prove that I can get better every year. And as long as I just increase my game every year, every time I step on the court and just get my best, and I don't think you guys for anything more.
All right, everybody calls him TJ. I just call him Terrence Gerard, his given name. Michelle Tafoya now standing by with another first-rounder, Kirk Heinrich. Michelle?
Yeah, Kirk Heinrich and TJ Ford, really the 2 point guards that everyone is talking about. Kirk, when you've been to your workouts and you've had 9 of them, what did you feel you were having to prove to these teams looking at you?
Well, I think, you know, I just want to go in and prove that I can play on this level. I think you want your career to talk for itself, but it's also important to go in and impress some people.
You and Nick Collison here together, people have a hard time separating you two because of the Kansas tie. You told me a minute ago you're pretty nervous. How do you feel about what you're going to see here tonight, not only for yourself, but for him?
Well, I'm really happy for him. You know, I've played with him a long time. You know, that's my guy. And, you know, I just hope for the best for him.
Your parents make this trip. They made just about every other road trip.
Yeah, they're here and they're real proud of me. You know, I'm glad they made it.
They should be. Good luck to you. We'll see you tonight. What happens for Kirk Heinrich? Right now, Dwayne Wade is with Stuart Scott, too.
June 26, 2003 draft day. How did February 2nd, 2002 better prepare you for this day?
It made me more mature. My son was born on that day. My son was born a little while after that, after we beat Cincinnati at home, a big game, so it made me mature.
You've known your wife, Savon, since you all were in the 5th grade. What has she told you today that's going to calm your nerves a little bit?
None.
You didn't need it?
No, I'm
Have
cool.
you calmed her nerves?
Yeah, I'm trying to calm hers. I'm cool. You know, I'm just happy to be here, and I'm ready to, you know, to get up there and shake David Stern's hand and move on.
Dwayne Wade, he was academically ineligible as a freshman. He worked his way to a 3.0 GPA, Mike, the highest in Marquette's starting 5.
And led Marquette to a Final Four appearance. We'll take you to Cleveland, get to know a little bit better guys by the name of Darko, Carmelo, and LeBron as we get set to hear from the guys you've heard from and the other big names and welcome a new generation to the NBA on Draft Night 2003.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Carmelo Anthony.
I'm Dwayne Wade.
I'm Chris Bosh.
America, you're watching the NBA Draft
on ESPN. On ESPN.
ESPN's exclusive coverage of the 2003 NBA Draft is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Sign up to get NBA Draft alerts sent right to your mobile phone. Sprite, obey your thirst. And Nintendo GameCube, born to play.
We welcome you back to the theater at Madison Square Garden, working towards the 2003 NBA Draft, and there is LeBron James, who is set to make the 40-mile move from Akron to Cleveland, Ohio. You know, Cleveland, Ohio, if you haven't been there, is a city of great sports passion. They love their Browns. You think of the Cardiac Kid Browns, Brian Sipton, Bernie Kosar. Go back to the days of Jim Brown. They love the Indians when they made that World Series run. They came up just a half inning short against the Florida Marlins. But Cleveland always has the rug pulled out from under it. Tonight, it's a Cleveland night to celebrate sports. One of Ohio's own, in a very prideful Midwestern state, comes to a team of their own. LeBron James to the Cavs. Jim Gray's in Cleveland with the owner of the NBA franchise there, Gordon Gund. Jim.
Mike, there's quite a euphoric feeling going on here tonight in Cleveland. The stadium out here at Gund Arena is full. We're joined by Gordon Gund, as you say. Gordon has suffered now for 33 years with retinitis pigmentosa. He is blind and has lost his eyesight 33 years ago. Gordon, I'd like to ask you, in your mind's eye, what does LeBron James look like to you?
Well, first of all, he's big and strong and very athletic. I guess can pass tremendously well. And he also looks like somebody who's really got it together. He's got a real humility and a good character, so all of those things.
You've been burdened in the past, the very famous shot of Michael Jordan over Craig Elo.
Don't remind me.
Does LeBron at all feel in your senses like Michael?
Well, he does. I haven't had the chance to be close with up on him playing basketball at that kind of level, but he has the potential to, in my mind.
What does this mean for this town, and what does this mean for your business? How many season tickets have you sold?
Well, we've had a significant increase in the number of season tickets we've sold. We still have some tickets, so anybody who is very interested, please be sure and hurry and let us know. But for the town, it's been terrific, because the fans have had, as you well know, a bad time of it lately, as has the franchise, and the fans really deserve this, and I'm excited. Most of all, I'm excited for them.
If there's one player in the league that a team would have called and said you can have, would you have traded this pick?
There is no player, Jim, for whom we would have traded this pick. There isn't a whole team. We're very excited to have this player, and we believe he's going to give this marketplace a great future of exciting basketball.
That's saying an awful lot, Gordon.
It is, but that's how I feel. You know, otherwise, if I didn't, I'd probably be run out of town.
All right, Gordon. These are going to go on sale, Mike Tirico. The number 23 jersey, the new crimson colors of the Cavaliers, they go on sale in about 15, 20 minutes. They are lined up around the block. They probably won't have enough. Back to you in New York.
Jim, they'll go from the bottom third of merchandise in the league, I would guess, to the upper half, maybe the upper third. It's not just the new jersey, it's the guy who's going to be wearing that number 23, as he does in tribute to Michael Jordan. Dick Vitale, you got to see some of LeBron James' high school games. He seems to have, Dick, in addition to all the basketball, that special it that makes stars superstars.
I tell you, Mike, I was so in awe watching him. I thought I was watching a rock star, the way he handled himself. In fact, he was much better than I even expected. But I mean, it was incredible. I remember getting a call years ago from Mr. Garfinkel of the 5-star camp. He told me he had a 15-year-old that dominated both his leagues, the NBA and the college division, and that's never been done before. Then he went to the big stage at Adidas and marched on and became incredible in Nike camp as well. Bottom line is, this kid has lived up to all the expectations. He has that special instinct, feel for the game. I'm going on my silver anniversary at ESPN. 25 years. He's the best high school player I have ever seen in my 25 years, man. And he's got that charisma where the box office and the cash register is going to go ding-a-ling-ding, because he's got that smile, Mr. Tirico, just like you.
It's the ding-a-ling-ding to go with the bling and everything else that will make Cavs games an event now in Cleveland. Jay Billis, you did some of those games with Dick. Basketball-wise, does LeBron have everything that everybody's building him up to have?
Yeah, he's just as skilled as Kobe Bryant or Kevin Garnett at the same age, but he is far more physically imposing. And, Mike, I'll tell you, I don't think any reasonable basketball person would take anyone else number one than LeBron James in this draft. It's an absolute no-brainer. He's got what it takes to be a great NBA player, and I think he will be.
Greg, if you were advising LeBron, what would you tell him the toughest thing ahead for him is?
Well, I think he has to be patient. I think the expectation level is so high for LeBron right now. Everyone has put him up there in the stratosphere. He just has to be patient and allow the game to come to him.
I think the only way he fails, is if he fails to meet our expectations. I would just say this to the fans and the media. Let's not create LeBron's legacy. Let him create one for himself.
The exciting part is, even though we know where he's going, it's still the official step tonight. And to watch a guy who's come from tough upbringing to great success, it's a pretty special night in his life, and we'll be here to share it when that first pick comes in a little bit. Darko Milicic should be the next pick from the Detroit Pistons. We will talk about Darko and the international impact that has become the NBA draft as we continue from New York on Draft Night 2003.
I am ready.
On draft night from the crossroads of the world, Times Square, New York City, just 10 blocks away from
the 2003 NBA draft took place on June 26, 2003, at the theater at Madison Square Garden in New York City, New York.
He of the Detroit Pistons, in all likelihood, from a war-torn part of the world, Serbia and Montenegro, continuing a long stretch as we now have 67 international players in the NBA, and that number should grow with a record if we get 15 or more players taken tonight. Jay Billis, why is a guy named Darko, who only played about 20 minutes per game, didn't play more than 30 games overseas, why is he worthy of the number 2 pick tonight?
Simply put, Mike, he's a freak, and I mean that in the most positive way. He's 7 foot tall, he's a left-hander, and he's got a 7 foot 5 inch wingspan. He is absolutely an incredible athlete when he gets out on the floor with this combination of size, skill, and athleticism. He gets off his feet, he can shoot the ball from the perimeter, and he's very clever with his inside moves. He's only 18 years old, and he's only been 18 for a few days. This guy has got a tremendous amount of potential, and he's got the potential to be great. If not for LeBron James, Darko Milicic would be the number 1 pick in most every draft in the last 10 years.
He'll likely go 2. Greg, where will we see the big influx of internationals?
Well, you're going to start to see that play out in the second half of the first round, particularly because that's where you're going to have teams that are a little bit more capable in terms of their overall personnel. Then they're just trying to fit a guy into a certain spot, allow him to grow and develop and mature.
Tom, there are people out there who say, well, I'm not going to bother paying attention because I don't know how to pronounce their names. I don't know what kind of team Hemo Farm is that Milicic plays for. What do you think of this international influx?
I think it's fun. I mean, you get guys like Gasol, you get guys like Nowitzki, you get Stojakovic, you get Hedo Turkoglu, and there's going to be more of these guys can come out. I'm just wondering if you're a GM right now, how you get through this. I mean, these guys are young. They're playing in different countries. I'm waiting for the day where we start like scouting embryos. It's like, oh, he had a great ultrasound. We're going to take him in the first round. He could be a GM right now. You just got to be going nuts.
You have to have strong ownership that allows you to have a presence internationally to be able to do these things. You can close your eyes to it. The international influx has made the quality of play better, and it's something we'll discuss throughout the night, the impact on the NBA. Getting closer to the first pick is Draft Night 2003 answers questions for some anxious young men.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Chris Bosh. I'm Dwayne Wade. I'm Darko Milicic. And you're watching the NBA Draft. Oh, all right, so I can kind of... What's the line again? And you're watching the NBA Draft on ESPN.
Time for a GMC draft moment. If we're talking about the top 3 being taken in this draft, let's go back to some of the recent best 1, 2, 3s. Hakeem Olajuwon taken with the number 1 pick in '84, a career that had almost spanned 2 decades. And, of course, the infamous number 2 pick of Sam Bowie, whose foot, leg injury problems held him back, but still he would have been the asterisk to Michael Jordan. Without question, the best number 3 pick in the history of the NBA draft. Jordan hanging it up after his fabulous career came to an end this year in Washington. And 11 years ago, Shaquille O'Neal from Orlando was the number 1 pick. Remember, he didn't lead the Magic to the finals. Alonzo Mourning, who still holds out hope of coming back to the NBA, one of the interesting free agent pictures this year. And a man still in the league. He was with Washington this year, Christian Laettner. That a recent successful 1, 2, 3. All were all-stars. You'll see a 1, 2, 3 they talk about for years. Our GMC draft moments. Chris Bosh could make it a 1, 2, 3, 4. Will he be the number 4 selection? Toronto has that pick. Chris Bosh has an anxious half hour or so to wait. Carmelo Anthony saying hi to as many fans as college coach Jim Boeheim sitting behind him. And LeBron James, he's on deck. The Cavs will be on the clock. The picks start when you come back.
I am ready. I'm ready.
Drives, penetration.
Ready to dominate.
Got scored all over it, man.
Showing what I've been working on.
Right between the legs.
Ready to feel the pressure.
come up big.
Hammers it down. He got it.
Stare down my man and say, I got you. I got you. I cannot be stopped. I cannot be stopped. I am ready.
There are so many names that if you watch college basketball, hook 'em horns. TJ Ford led Texas to higher basketball places than they've seen in a half century. Nick and Kirk, what a job they did in Lawrence for 4 years, and now the Jayhawks will move on to the NBA. Kirk Heinrich sitting there. What a great story. From Iowa to KU, and now together they sit here in New York tonight. Jarvis Hayes, he's been attached almost to his twin Jonas for their entire basketball lives. Tonight, Jarvis takes the step from Georgia on to the league. How about the youngster with Dwayne Wade sitting and waiting? The draft is set to begin. And for that, the commissioner of the NBA, David Stern, will take to the podium to begin the proceedings officially.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NBA Draft at the Theater at Madison Square Garden. In New York City, home of the Knicks, the WNBA's Liberty, and this year's WNBA All-Star Game on July 12th. To our fans here in the United States watching on ESPN, to our fans watching in 212 countries and logging on to NBA.com around the world, thank you for joining us. To our fans gathered here tonight, our very enthusiastic and interested fans, thank you for coming. The first pick in the 2003 NBA Draft will be made by the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have 5 minutes to make their selection.
And LeBron James will sit for the next few minutes. The most comfortable wait for a #1 pick. If you couldn't hear what the fans were chanting, they were chanting Fire Layden, talking about Scott Layden, GM of the Knicks. The Knicks will pick 9th, and we'll talk about that when it comes around, because it will be an interesting atmosphere here in the theater. But the move that LeBron James is about to make from high school to the NBA, Amari Stoudemire, the #9 overall pick by Phoenix last year, from a number standpoint, did it as well as anybody ever in the history of the league. Tough to make that early impact. Jay Billis, what, as you break down LeBron James' game, gives him the skill set to join Stoudemire, making the move high school to the pro?
Well, I think, Mike, first you start with his body. LeBron James has an NBA body. He is prepared from a physical standpoint to make this jump to the NBA, as prepared as any high school player has ever been. 6'7.5", 240 pounds plus. He is strong and an absolute man. He is an extraordinary passer, a Magic Johnson-type passer that can really see the floor and deliver the ball. He is easy to play with. He will be a great teammate because he doesn't need to score in order to impact a basketball game. He's also got explosion ability. LeBron James can get to the basket. He can rise up and finish once he gets there with that great athleticism, and he's got the handle and the first step in order to get to the hole. What does he need to improve upon? His defensive concentration. He needs to involve himself in more plays, not just hang back. He does defend. He needs to do a better job, and he's got to refine his shot. He is not a good jump shooter, but he shoots a good ball, and he shoots it with ease from range. I think with work on that jump shot, LeBron James can be a good jump shooter. He has got the complete package, the most prepared high school player ever, at least since Moses Malone, to jump into this league and play right away.
How good will he be, guys?
I think he's going to be tremendous. He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer unless he gets injured. He has too much upside not to be great.
Didn't we all cherry pick in high school? And do we have to pick that one out? I cherry picked. I know that. It was fun. You could dunk.
It's an amazing story of a young man who's gone from tough times to great success, and the crowning moment for LeBron James, something he's dreamed about his whole life, is about to happen. We'll go up to the podium and Commissioner Stern for the first pick this year.
With the first pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select LeBron James.
There he is with his mom, Gloria.
Cleveland Cavaliers with the first pick in the 2003 NBA draft go on to select LeBron James. LeBron James still plays in the NBA today. He is in the conversation of being the GOAT compared to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan actually officially retired at the end of the season going into this NBA draft, and now a new era is coming with LeBron James being picked here, which shows one end of the GOAT era until the next new era of the GOAT stage. I wonder if we'll see that again in the draft coming up.
High school games on national
Once LeBron James retires, or did that draft already happen?
The unprecedented hype.
Well, you know what's amazing to me is we are actually going to see LeBron James jerseys. We're going to see Cleveland Cavalier jerseys in Montana, in LA, in New York, in Chicago. And his impact is not just going to be on the court. It's going to be felt all across the landscape of America.
You know, you got to love this guy, too, in terms of his poise and the way he's really handled himself through all this adversity. I mean, this is a great moment for him and his family, obviously, but also for the city of Cleveland.
It is for Cleveland as well, and here is LeBron James on the Sprite set with Michelle Tafoya.
Mike, thanks. LeBron, this was a moment years in the making, and even though you knew you were going to be the top pick in the draft, you said you weren't sure how you'd feel when David Stern actually called your name. So I have to ask you, what was the moment like?
It was great. You know, this is a long-time dream to finally accomplish this, and it finally shows that the hard work has finally paid off for me.
And a lot lies ahead. You will most certainly be the most scrutinized rookie in the history of the NBA. What will make a successful season by your definition in the rookie year?
You know, seeing our team get better every day. I think that's going to be the biggest accomplishment for us because last year we weren't pretty good. But if I feel like we get better every day as a team, that's going to be my biggest goal this year.
There has been some talk that they might want to play you at the point guard. What do you think?
I think I'm going to be ready for it. You know, for anything that Coach Cited needs me to do for my team to win, I think I'm going to be happy about it.
You threw out to Carmelo Anthony, basically game on. Let's vie for Rookie of the Year. Let's compete. Why will you win that contest?
You know, I think, I'm not sure I'm going to win the contest. I just think that I'm just going to try to get my teammates better. You know, I'm not looking for individual things. I'm all about the team.
Well, the team wears this jersey on the road, LeBron. Here it is. Enjoy it.
All right, Cavs fans back at home.
Mike, back
Pops,
to you.
what up?
Ohio's own LeBron James becomes the first player taken in the #1 overall selection who was born in the same state of the team that picked him. Now the Detroit Pistons are on the clock at #2. We've talked about Darko Milicic, but we should get the perspective on Detroit being in the 2 spot. It is rare in NBA history that a team picks this high after winning 50 games, and I don't think there was a lot of sleep lost on August 7 of 1997 when Otis Thorpe, a veteran, was moved to the then Vancouver Grizzlies, and the Pistons received a first-round pick down the line, which was delayed and delayed. They would not have gotten it this year if it was the #1 overall pick, and there was Jerry West sitting there at the draft lottery knowing, I'm going to get LeBron James or nothing. He ended up with nothing. The Detroit Pistons have the pick, and a 50-win team has a chance to add a very impressive international piece who not everyone knows about, Jay, but has 7'1" size plus ability to play other positions.
And you give credit to Rick Sund, who's now with the Seattle Supersonics, for making that trade that got Darko Milicic right now if they decide to pick him. And Milicic has tremendous upside. 7 feet tall. He has a 7'5" wingspan, and he's only 18 years old. A very creative scorer that can set his man up. I think he's got the chance to be great, but you're going to have to wait a little while on Darko Milicic because it's going to take him some time to mature. He's got to get stronger. He's sometimes easily pushed off the lane, and you're not always sure if he's going to be willing to play inside. I think he will in the future as well.
The pick is in, and that is the beauty of it for Darko. He does not have to come in and do what LeBron James has to do and carry a team and carry a franchise. He comes to a team that got to the Eastern Conference Finals, won 50 games, and as we've mentioned, also has a Hall of Fame coach coming in, Larry Brown.
Well, I'll tell you what, he may be thin and he may not be strong, but you got Ben Wallace behind you. So you got that going for you. I mean, no one's going to kick sand in your face with Big Ben back there. And you got other guys that can score, other guys that can rebound. It's nice to be able to bring along a rookie slow.
All right, let's head up to the podium to find out the second overall pick. It's you go back to James Worthy when he was selected by the Lakers in '82. Len Bias, the tragic story of Len Bias, the Celtics had the #2 pick then. There are very few times in NBA history, just a half dozen, where a team that's won 50 games has picked this high in the draft.
With the second pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the Detroit Pistons select Darko Milicic from Serbia and Montenegro.
Turned 18 on Friday. The rules of the NBA draft had to change a bit to allow Darko Milicic to be selected. Used to be you had to turn 18 within 45 days of the draft. Now you must turn 18 by the end of the calendar year that the draft is in. Darko Milicic's dad, 6'7" police officer. Mom is 6'3".
The Detroit Pistons selected the second pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, Darko Milicic.
Now they will watch Darko Milicic. What will they see about him in the Billis breakdown?
Darko Milicic, very highly skilled. He can shoot it, he can pass it, a very good rebounder and an excellent handler. He's fundamentally sound and he's got terrific hands. Just 18 years old and he's got all the elements that you want in a great player because he's a creative scorer on the offensive end. He can set his man up and make a move, and with that 7'5" wingspan, he can shoot over the top of people. He's got very good footwork. He still needs to get stronger and get the strength to hold position down low, but with his back to the basket, he can make credible post moves, and with those great hands, look how he sets his man up, uses a jab step. That's extraordinary for a guy 7 feet tall with such long arms. But with that strength to hold position, I think a key. Watch when he tries to get position here inside the paint. He winds up getting pushed all the way out to the corner. As he gets stronger and matures as a basketball player, he will be able to hold that position, and he'll be much more likely to score with his back to the basket. Darko Milicic, a chance to be great. You can't say that about that many big guys. This guy has got skills.
The highest drafted European in NBA history, Darko Milicic, taken by the Detroit Pistons, and he's standing by on the Sprite set with Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Mike, and Darko deciding to do this interview, one of the first times he's doing it without an interpreter, so we welcome that. Darko, what do you know about Detroit?
I've been in Detroit 2 times. It's nice for me, nice area. I've never been downtown, but I like people in Detroit, in club.
You are a very outspoken guy. NBA fans are going to learn a lot about you. What are they going to learn first?
What I must learn first?
What are fans going to learn about you first?
I don't know. I can talk for that. He must saw me first. I think he's never saw me. That's what is my best in court.
You and your family survived war. You were 10 years old when your father went off to war. How do you think that affected you as a player?
I am strong, but I just can be stronger. Then,
Well, Detroit is counting on that strength. Here's the road jersey, Darko. Congratulations, Mike. When he was just 10 years old, his mom sold the family car to buy a cow to support them through that war. I think Darko can probably buy her the whole farm now.
Yep, left at 14 to play basketball. His dad was off with the war. Quite a story coming true here tonight. Standing on the stage, by the way, was Peja Savovich of the Denver Nuggets, who was going to help translate in case Darko needed it. He did not. Peja's team, the Nuggets, are on the clock. But while we have a second, Jim Gray in Cleveland with their head coach, Paul Simons.
Mike, thank you. The euphoric feelings continue here. Paul, congratulations to you. Is it possible on a night like this to talk about real expectations, and what are they for LeBron?
Not really. I think that we just want him to improve every time out. By his own admission, he talks about winning. He talks about making the team better. If that's his mindset, he can only get better. He can only be as good as he's going to be.
What do you do about all the people surrounding him? Of course, he has an agent. He's close to his mother. He's got teammates. He's got quite an entourage for an 18-year-old. How do you make that go from an entourage to one guy now being a member of your team?
Well, it's all according to what he does on the floor. That's what I'm mainly concerned with. We're going to have to try to protect him as much as possible from media scrutiny and that kind of thing. But if he does well on the court, everything else falls into place.
You've been in basketball for 34 years. Have you ever seen anything quite like what is surrounding LeBron and what's going on regarding his draft pick and him coming into this league?
Jim, I have not. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
All right, Paul, congratulations to you. We've got another pick. Denver's pick is up. Let's go to Mike Tirico.
Okay, Jim, thank you. Like the Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that Paul Silas takes over, the Denver Nuggets also won just 17 games this year. They end up 3 in the lottery. Most years it would be kind of a consolation prize but probably not this year. Back up to the podium and Commissioner David Stern.
With the third pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Carmelo Anthony from Syracuse University.
The hug for his mom, Mary, who raised 4 children on a housekeeper's wage from the tough streets of Baltimore, learned basketball at age 7 on a crate, 8 feet up, 1 year in college, and led Syracuse to 30 wins in its first ever national championship. Stu Scott is with Carmelo's mom, Mary.
Mike, I'm here with Mary. Got to be a very emotional moment. What's running through your mind right now?
The Denver Nuggets selected the third pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, Carmelo Anthony, out of Syracuse College.
At what point did you know that your son was not just a special person, but a special basketball player? It's okay. It is okay. Tears of joy, I'm sure. We'll come back and talk to you later. Hopefully, Mike, let's go back to you because this moment, let her have it to herself.
It is so much a part of the story. Let's bring in our friend, Mr. Vitale. Dick, take us through Carmelo Anthony, how you think he's going to make the adjustment to the NBA.
Mike, it was so beautiful to see the tears of joy and happiness, tremendous love there with his mom. The one thing that this youngster possesses is the unbelievable charisma, that great smile, plays the game with great feeling, a guy that can beat you so many ways, inside, outside. He's going to provide offensive firepower to Denver. Denver averaged 84 points a game last year, Mike. This kid's going to provide scoring in day one. You know, you talk about Milicic and we talk about upside for Darko, and certainly looks like he has a great upside and great potential. Carmelo Anthony is not about upside. He is a guy that is ready to contribute. He played 36 minutes a game under pressure situations, responded under pressure, consistently performed at the highest level on the NCAA level. You know, we talk about a lot of these players are going to learn on-the-job training in the NBA, and that's sad in a way, where Carmelo had his on-the-job training at Syracuse and was absolutely super. I think a great choice, Mike. I really believe that Detroit may regret not making the call for Mr. Anthony.
A great offensive player in college. Denver was last in the league in points, field goal percentage, three-point percentage, free throw percentage. Carmelo Anthony on the Sprite set with Michelle Tafoya.
Mike, thanks very much, Carmelo. You've got the house behind you. Your mom was speechless, overcome with emotion. Can you tell us what this moment means to you and your family?
This moment, it just means a lot to me right now. I knew when my mom first came in that she was real tense. I asked her, did she want some water, but she said no. Well, I knew that she was going to get really emotional early, though.
Indeed she did. You have gone on the record, Melo, as saying that you're the best player in this draft. What do you know about your game that maybe Cleveland and Detroit didn't?
Well, I'm an all-around player. I think I could pretty much do everything that from the one position all the way down to the power forward position. I ain't gonna say I'm ready to play a center yet, but yeah, I can do what I can do.
Jim Boeheim has said that you are the most fun player he's ever coached. What do you think he meant by that?
I'm just excited. I bring a lot to the court. Basketball is a game of fun. If you ain't having fun, then ain't no need for you to be playing.
Have fun in Denver, Melo.
Thanks.
Mike, let's send it back to you.
It's part of their new look, the hat, and we go via the EA Sports video conferencing to the Nuggets headquarters, and Kiki Vandeweghe, their general manager, will join us. Kiki, to take Carmelo Anthony at this pick was a no-brainer for a lot of guys. Other years you would have been not in as good position at number 3. Did you have any doubts about Carmelo before you worked him out a couple of weeks ago?
There was no real doubt. I think this draft is very unique because I think you had 3 players that in any other draft could have been a number 1 pick. So we're just overjoyed to have Carmelo. It was just, you know, tremendous to see his mom and the love in that family, and we hope we can show him the same type of love here in Denver.
Kiki, you're rebuilding a franchise there, have a lot of salary cap room. We'll discuss that later. Is Carmelo the type of player on and off the floor that you can build a successful franchise around?
Well, I've gone on record saying that character is very important to me, and Carmelo certainly has that in abundance. He's a tremendous young man besides being a great basketball player, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the NBA community and our community here in Denver.
Kiki, thank you very much. We'll talk to you later on.
Thank you.
Kiki Vandeweghe, general manager of the Denver Nuggets. Toronto's in the 4th spot. This is where the known stops, the unknown begins. The hot spot of the draft. How will it all spin? Let's see what the Raptors are going to do. They have a new head coach, remember, in Kevin O'Neal, former Detroit assistant. Here's the commissioner.
With the 4th pick in the 2003 NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors select Chris Bosh from Georgia Tech University.
It was 7 years ago in the 4th spot that a Georgia Tech player was drafted, Stephon Marbury.
The Toronto Raptors selected the 4th pick in the 2003 NBA draft, Chris Bosh out of Georgia Tech College.
Another player like Carmelo Anthony, just a pick before, who spent 1 year in college and then turned pro, Jay.
Where is he going to play? Is he going to play out on the perimeter? Is he going to be more of a 3-man, or will he play inside? He's not the kind of guy that has a lot of size right now as far as bulk. He needs to put on some weight. But let's take a look at exactly what this kid can do. He's 6'11 and a half, a left-handed shot blocker that can really change ends. He runs the floor extraordinarily well, and he's got terrific hands. He's very productive. He can fill up a stat sheet in a lot of different categories. But the question I have about him, will he gain the weight and will he make the commitment to playing inside? He's a set shooting big man. He can step away from the basket and knock down shots as a trailer. Doesn't really put the ball on the floor, but he can really run. An outstanding athlete, great hands. I think he's got the most potential of any other player in the draft outside of the top 3. But with those rounded shoulders, I just question whether he can put on a lot of weight. It's a question in my mind as to whether he's got the toughness in order to play inside. And that's a question he's going to have to answer. Where do you play him out on the floor?
We'll talk about his Toronto fit in a minute. Here he is set with Michelle again.
All right, with Chris Bosh, 4th pick to Toronto. You know, 1 season at Georgia Tech, and then your mom sat you down and said, write down all the pros and cons of leaving school early for the NBA. What was the biggest deciding factor?
The biggest deciding factor, you know, I knew I had the chance to make it to the NBA at a high level, at a high pick actually. And you know, it just wasn't a reason, you know, to come back to college and risk the chance of getting hurt. I mean, Georgia Tech is a great place, great place.
And I know you'll miss it. Critics have said, and you're hearing it, does he have the NBA body? Can he commit to putting on the weight? How are you going to answer the critics?
Well, I mean, NBA body, if you can play, you can play. That's why we're out here. So, I mean, that comes with time, and I'm not worried about that.
We'll be watching, Chris. Congratulations. Mike, back to you.
Thanks, Michelle. Guys, how does he fit with the Raptors?
Well, for me, I think the big thing is his development is really going to be dependent upon the guard play in Toronto. Those guys are going to have to really take him under their wing and really allow him to become a much more productive basketball player in a hurry. They want to win now.
I think he helps him more immediately on the defensive end, blocking shots, gobbling up rebounds. Offensively, just get the ball to Vince Carter and get out of the way.
And keep Vince healthy in the lineup. Toronto, by the way, was 20th in block shots in the NBA this year. Miami's on the clock. They pick 5th. The draft continues from New York as maybe the Miami Heat are thinking about moving that pick. We'll hear the conversation about how Pat Riley tries to rebuild that team on the run that won just 25 games in 2003. Miami next. We welcome you back to the theater at Madison Square Garden. Our coverage of the 2003 NBA Draft here on ESPN. You can follow what's happened if you're just joining us as you watch the words on our side and underneath our picture here. The Miami Heat are on the clock, a 25-win team. Pat Riley tries to rebuild this team on the run so he can leave it in a little bit better shape than it is right now. Here's the commissioner with the selection.
With the 5th pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the Miami Heat select Dwayne Wade from Marquette University.
Tom, we were there, and watch Dwayne Wade single-handedly take Marquette for the first time in 26 years back to the Final Four when they beat Kentucky in the regional final in Minneapolis.
This guy's a flat player. I mean, you look at the top three, and I think he's right at that next level. There's really not a lot he can't do. They questioned his shooting. I think he shoots fine from mid-range. He's a physical two-guard. He can get out and defend long arms, and he's not afraid to take it to the hole. He can draw contact and finish. I love this guy. I think he could be a multiple All-Star in a couple years.
The Miami Heat select with the 5th pick in the 2003 NBA draft Dwayne Wade out of Marquette College.
Greg, Dwayne Wade in the NBA, can he make it jump smoothly?
Later on, LeBron James, the first pick in this draft, Chris Bosh, the 4th pick in this draft, and Dwayne Wade, who's already drafted by the Miami Heat with the 5th pick in this draft, later on in the 2010s, would go on to be the big three for the Miami Heat in the 2010s, early 2010s, and they would be called the Heatles, and they would go on to be a great dream team together for the Miami Heat during the early 2010s as 3 of the top 5 picks in this draft would form the big three.
Well, he said before that you were the one who was nervous and had to be calmed down. We know
this draft was the end.
We know sometimes they don't tell the whole truth. Mike, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Stu. High school sweethearts who got married. Jay, talk about Dwayne Wade.
I will now let the draft video run and enjoy the draft.
Dwayne Wade is a slasher. He's a big guard in the mold of I think, a guy like Steve Francis or going way back Sidney Moncrief. He's got a great first step, and he's always around the ball. He has long arms, a great wingspan, and he really can fill up a stat sheet in a lot of different categories. He gets deflections, steals. He can block shots. He can lock you down defensively, and he's also got the ability to take the ball to the basket. The question marks are his shooting range. He is not a great shooter. He's been working on that shot, but he can get to the basket, and that's the thing that impresses me most. As a big guard, he really is productive, and he's an accomplished basketball player. And what I like best about him, Mike, is he's a hard worker. He's got a great work ethic, and he's a terrific teammate. I like this pick. I think Pat Riley is sending a message that even though he may not fit in, may not be able to be a point guard with Caron Butler and Eddie Jones, he's going to go to battle with those guys because Dwayne Wade is a high character guy that will fit in with that team.
Since they started charting round by round, highest Marquette pick ever taken. Standing by on the Sprite set with Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Mike, thanks. Dwayne, all through the week, the talk was you could go anywhere from 4 down toward the bottom part of the first round. What was your reaction when you were picked 5th by Miami?
It's a dream come true. I'm blessed. I know I am. I just know that hard work pays off, and I really learned that at Marquette.
Tom Crean, your coach at Marquette, has said he just constantly wants to get better, and if he continues that work ethic, he can have a long career. What are you going to try to get better at first?
Well, I'm the kind of player that I need to fine-tune everything in my game, so I'm going to work on everything, the things I was good at and the things I need to get better at.
Between all your visits with Zaire and your wife, Savon, who are so emotional, great story. Dwayne, congratulations. Mike, let's send it back to you.
Michelle, right to the EA Sports video conference as we look at the folks who are headed to South Beach, and we join Pat Riley, the president and head coach of the Miami Heat. Coach, the folks in New York are glad to see you again, Coach. Where does Dwayne fit into your team?
Hello, everybody. What's that?
Where does Dwayne
about all of that stuff?
Where does Dwayne fit into your team?
He's a player. I tell you where he fits in. He, to me, was probably the most mature player that we worked out and scouted. And not only do I see him as a multiple position player, but I see him as a guy who can defend. Not only can he defend, finally have a defensive player who can score, get to the basket, rebound, deflect. He's an absolutely complete player who's going to get better. So we are absolutely excited with this pick.
So the fact that you have an Eddie Jones with a big contract for 5 years at the shooting guard spot, you're not worried about that? You're going to make it work with the players that are there?
Well, I think you'll probably see a lineup of Wade, Jones, and Butler a lot. And I think this is one of the players in the draft, a perimeter player, probably the only perimeter player of his size that I think, other than James, that could probably play the point guard position. And how we plan on playing in the future is to play bigger and longer. Here's a guy that's, he's 6'4", and he's got a plus 6 inch wingspan. So he's real long, he's real athletic, and we're planning on using him in that spot.
Coach, you pick at 33. We'll let you get back in. Thank you very much. Pat Riley, the head coach and president of the Miami Heat. The Los Angeles Clippers are on the clock. Always intriguing to see what move the Clippers will make. Let's send it back to Commissioner Stern for pick 6.
With the 6th pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Chris Kaman from Central Michigan University.
First time in 13 years that a Central Michigan player has been drafted was Thunder Dan Marley in '88, taken by the Phoenix Suns. Chris Kaman, Michigan kid from Wyoming, Michigan. His graduating class was 47. He now will call Los Angeles home. The 7-footer taken by the Clippers. Stu is with his dad, Mr. Scott.
Mike, I'm with Leroy Kaman. Now, this is actually interesting because Leroy is very calm. We know Chris has told us that you, and I'm using his words, can get out of control while he's playing up in the stands yelling. Leroy, how are you going to do that when he's in the NBA?
I don't know. I'll just have a good time with him. I don't know. I'm a little nervous now all of a sudden.
Now, you've been known to actually yell at the coach saying, put my kid in.
Yes,
you going to yell at Dennis Johnson?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see about that one. I don't know.
Now, I mean, Chris wants you to calm down. He's scared you're going to have a heart attack. I mean, can you take a breath and relax?
Yeah, you know, when he does play game and I get all pumped up, and sometimes I get so pumped up, one time I almost passed out. It was really comical, but my daughter kind of got wound up with me a little bit, and she said, settle down, Dad, settle down.
All right, Leroy, congratulations. Mike, let's go back to you.
Dad involved in public works up there in Michigan. Mom, a teacher's aide. They've raised quite a son. Jay, the Billis breakdown.
Well, he's very skilled with both hands. Chris Kaman can shoot with his right hand and his left hand. In fact, when I first saw him play, until he shot a free throw, I didn't see warm-ups. I wasn't sure whether he was right-handed or left-handed. The most offensively advanced big man in this draft. He will be able to step in and score right away. He's got clever post moves, terrific footwork. He can shoot a jump hook. He can face up and shoot a jumper. And he can dunk the ball with both hands when he's near the basket. A legit 7 foot. He's not a great athlete, but he is very good offensively. The thing I worry about with him, does he have the strength? That's something I think he can add. He's got to get into the weight room, tone up that body. He's got almost 17-18% body fat, so he's got to work on that. And I really do think he needs to work on his defense. He's not shown a ton of pride on the defensive end, and that's something he has got to change and has got to continue trying to rebound out of his area. But a great prospect, a guy that can play right away for you.
All right, on the strike set, Chris Kaman with Michelle again.
And Mike, Chris has said all along, you didn't want to be drafted just because you were a 7-footer. What do you think you proved to GMs that got you the 6th pick?
You know, I feel like I'm a solid player on the basket, you know, and I think that's something that the Clippers were interested in, and I'm just glad to play for him, you know. Elgin Miller's a great GM, you know, and so I'm really excited right now.
No reason not to be, but 10 consecutive losing seasons with the Clippers. Can you help change that?
Oh, I think so. I think definitely, you know, it might take some time, but, you know, I'm just glad to be here right now, and I'm thankful, you know, thank God that I'm here, you know, and my family, everybody supported me, so.
All right, congratulations, Mike. He said he was going to keep his 1996 GMC Yukon, but now he doesn't know how to get it to California, so I think he can get a new car.
I think so. And Tom Tolbert, a quick thought about this pick.
Where's Olokandi go? Is Olokandi gone? Does he stay? Do they want him backing him up? I'm not really sure. They have a lot of duplicated positions down there, and if Olokandi is going to stay, then I'm not really sure if I understand this one.
As a free agent, probably gone. Bulls on the clock. We're back with more of the draft from New York after this. Back with the Ford Draft Track. Those of you who may just be joining us, LeBron James selected #1 by Cleveland, the youngest #1 pick in NBA draft history, as James is 18 years old. Darko Milicic to Detroit. Yao Ming taken #1 last year. This is the second highest international pick, highest European pick in draft history. And Carmelo Anthony, 12 years after Billy Owens, goes to the 3 spot from Syracuse to Denver. Chicago's on the clock, and here's the Bulls pick at #7 overall.
With the 7th pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Kirk Heinrich of Kansas University.
Some people surprised by the pick. Kirk Heinrich, 22 years old, one of the older players that'll be selected here tonight. But this situation perhaps has changed somewhat in the last week or so. It's been about 9 days now since Jay Williams was injured in a motorcycle accident. And with his future in question, perhaps Chicago thinking that they needed another point guard, they make the pick here. His teammate Nick Collison waits in the green room, but he's certainly proud, Stu Scott.
Mike, Nick Collison and Kirk Heinrich, you guys played more than 60 AAU games before you ever stepped foot on Kansas's campus. What do you know about him that lets you know for sure this guy's going to make it in the NBA?
He's a competitor. He's always competed. You know, no matter who he played, he's always came to play and, always puts forth his best effort. And I think he's going to be great for Chicago.
Former roommates, Mike, but after a few years living together, they had to part ways. It was like, one of them was Oscar, the other was Felix. What are you going to do?
Well, they're going to find each other somewhere in the NBA. We'll find out when their paths will cross it a little bit. Greg Anthony, as an NBA point guard for a dozen years, how will Kirk Heinrich make the transition?
Well, I think he is at an advantage going to Chicago because they run a triangle offense where you really don't feature a point guard. So for him, his ability to shoot the basketball, playing with great athletes on that front line, he'll be able to contribute right away and be able to play alongside the likes of a Jamal Crawford.
Also the ability to shoot it very well, Jay.
And he shoots it very efficiently. He shot over 50% for his career at Kansas, over 45% from three, over 80% of his free throws. But what I love about Kirk Heinrich, he attacks in transition. He can run all day, and he has graded out as the best defender among these guards outside of Dwayne Wade. I think Dwayne Wade, a more versatile defender that can guard more positions. When he's gone straight up against point guards and two guards, he has graded out very well in all of his workouts. An outstanding defender.
Learned the game from his dad, Jim, now a Chicago Bull. Stayed in the Midwest and on the Sprite set with Michelle Tafoya.
Kirk Heinrich found out just when your name was called, you're going to Chicago. It's a franchise in the midst of a lot of change, particularly at the point guard situation with the unfortunate happenings with Jason Williams. Your thoughts about going into that franchise and making an immediate impact?
I'm just really excited. I can't be more happy. It's a dream. I've had all my life. I think that I'm going to go in there with the right attitude and make it work out.
Some people thought you would have to prove to scouts, to GMs, to coaches that you could create your own shot. How do you think you proved it to them?
I think I showed them. I had really good workouts, and it went well. I went in there trying to impress people, and I'm just thrilled to death to be going to Chicago.
Chicago, not too far from Iowa. Your parents will get to see a lot of you. Mike, let's send it back to you.
Michelle, we mentioned the point guard story as you look at the Heinrichs, who are so proud of their son, Jay Williams, the point guard from Duke, number 2 pick here last year, involved in the motorcycle accident that Jay Billis, the Duke family so well, could threaten his entire basketball career and his future.
Yeah, Mike, it's a sad story, and I've known Jay for a long time. I don't know a better kid. He's always made great decisions. He made an unfortunate decision to get on this motorcycle, and it was tragically ironic that he was just at Duke the day before the accident, working out with Johnny Dawkins, the associate head coach and a teammate of mine, and spoke at the camp to a bunch of youngsters and talked to them about being smart because it could all end tomorrow and making good decisions. And maybe it did all end tomorrow. But if anybody can overcome these horrible injuries he sustained to his left side, it's Jay Williams. He's a strong young man.
The Bulls officially have said it certainly is not in their plans for next year because of an injury standpoint, and his career is certainly in jeopardy, but you only hope things work out for him. Up the road a couple hours from Chicago, Milwaukee. What will the Bucks do as they select now number 8 here in the draft?
With the 8th pick in the 2003 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select T.J. Ford from the University of Texas.
Some thought he would be a higher pick. Some say he can't shoot it well enough. T.J. Ford taken by another team, perhaps in need of a point guard if Gary Payton moves on, and Gary Payton is a free agent. T.J. Ford, so I'll ask you the same question about Heinrich. Chance over transition to the NBA at point guard.
Well, I think it'll help there because they have so many skilled guys there on the perimeter. He'll have an opportunity to have an impact right away.
They got to figure out, they need to figure out an identity. This guy excels in a speed-up game. They had a speed-up game 3 years ago when they had Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, and Cassell. They tried to go more defensive-oriented. This team needs to find an identity and figure out which way they want to go.
Dick Vitale in Florida, you say nay to the naysayers about TJ Ford.
I'll tell you one thing, Mike. I'm certainly excited for TJ, and I know the people in Milwaukee are going to love him. He had 527 assists in 2 years. Absolutely a brilliant guy who creates opportunities. He'll have players down here who can finish and finalize. I think a great choice, just like the choice by Wade going, for example, to Miami, just like I think in the case of taking Chris Bosh, they took him on potential on number 4 rather than getting instant help. I thought they could have used TJ Ford up in Toronto. But the bottom line is Heinrich's going to be solid in Chicago, and this kid, because they've really learned how to play and they're ready to contribute. They're not drafted with the idea of sitting on the pine and waiting and waiting and waiting. Because ultimately a kid like Bosh will be a good player, just like Dunleavy will be a good player eventually. But last year, he had to learn. I think if I'm up there on top and I need instant help, I want to get help now. Man, you're Kevin O'Neal up in Toronto. You got a 2-year deal, man. You can't wait for Chris Bosh for 5 years to be a player. I don't understand the logic with some of the choices.
Well, TJ Ford is selected, Dick, and for those that say the American college game is not as good as it was, 4 teams made the Final Four. Syracuse, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Marquette, Kirk Heinrich, Kansas, TJ Ford, Texas. Each of the Final Four teams have their star guy going in this draft. The Knicks are on the clock. The magic words said in this building. What will their reaction be to New York's pick? Come back and find out. TJ Ford of the Milwaukee Bucks now with Michelle on the Sprite set.
Well, Mike, with TJ, as you mentioned, if size and shooting were the big questions, TJ, what do you think sold Milwaukee?
Well, I'm just part of a winning program being at the University of Texas, and I know that they feel that they're already in the playoffs, and I can just come in and help the team behind Sam Cassell, and if they re-sign Gary Payton.
You improved so much between your freshman and sophomore seasons at Texas, the 800 to 1,000 shots a day. What are you planning to do to prove that you can get better as a shooter in this
Well, I feel like everyone that's in this draft come in with a weakness. I think we all got to work on something to get better. And so I'm just going to prepare myself and hopefully turn out for the best.
Congratulations. Mike, back to you.
As the Knicks pick comes in, the fans build the excitement here at the theater at Madison Square Garden. This is always such a good moment. We'll just let the crowd tell you what they think after Commissioner Stern gives you the pick.
With the 9th pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Michael Sweetney from Georgetown University.
Sounds like the majority approves. Stuart Scott is with them to sample some of their opinions. Stu?
Well, Mike, in the name of Frederick Weiss, I'm here with a bunch of Knicks fans. The last time the Knicks picked a center out of Georgetown, it worked pretty well. Will, what do you think about the choice?
I think it's a great choice, picking someone from Georgetown just like Patrick Ewing. Gotta go for it.
Now, is there anybody else that you wanted?
I would have picked the bigger Lampy from Spain. He's 6'11", but anyone from Georgetown's better.
All right, Lampy Mike is the heartfelt choice, but you can't go wrong with Georgetown, baby. Back to you, Mike.
That's the last we'll see of Stu tonight, I think. Sweetney will play the 4 here in the NBA at 6'8". Here's a guy who worked his body into shape, Jay, to become a horse, a guy Georgetown could ride all season long.
Yeah, and he's very productive, Mike. Mike Sweetney, I think, may be undersized, but he's a lot like Elton Brand. I'm not sure he's as tenacious as Elton Brand, but he's extraordinarily productive inside. He's got really long arms, over a 7-foot wingspan. He can block some shots. He's a very good offensive rebounder, as we talked about. But what I really like about him, he gets to the free throw line. And I think that translates to the pro level. You get to the free throw line at a high rate in college, I think you're going to get there at the pro level as well. I do question his explosiveness. Can he explode up and score over people near the basket in the NBA? He'll have to answer that question in the toughest market in the league.
Now he answers questions from Michelle over on the Sprite Center.
Well, Mike, he talked to Patrick Ewing just a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, the Georgetown connection. What did Patrick tell you? What was the best piece of advice he gave you?
Basically, he just told me just to stay focused, keep working hard, and all my dreams will come true soon.
You know, it's tough making the leap into the NBA no matter who you are. You're here in New York City. You're hearing it from these people already. The attention is unbelievable. How prepared are you to handle it?
I'm very prepared. I'm just ready to go out here and work hard, hopefully make the Knicks better, and do whatever it takes to help the team win.
They need help inside. You've worked very hard to stay in shape. How tough is it to continue to keep yourself in shape? You were at 320 when you came into Georgetown, got down to 260.
Yeah, you know, Coach Ronnie Thompson helped me out a lot. You know, changed my diet plan, gave me a good workout. You know, things went well, and I dropped the weight quick.
Congratulations, Mike. Good luck to you in New York. Let's send it back to Rico.
They ran the 3-mile loop there at Georgetown together for a couple of years to get him back in shape. Good help for the Knicks with a rebounder. You think they need it? Knicks were last in the NBA rebounding this past year. David Aldridge has some news for us. David.
Well, Mike, you know, the Wizards are coming up with the 10th pick, and up until a couple of hours ago, Washington and Miami were discussing a deal. Would have sent Kwame Brown to Miami, and there was a 3-way potential deal involving Seattle as well, where Miami would have wound up with 2 picks. Seattle would have gotten Kwame Brown. Washington would have gotten the 5th pick. But Eddie Jordan, the new head coach of the Wizards, said he did not want to trade Kwame Brown. He wants to look at Kwame Brown, give him an opportunity to show what he can do before they make any final decisions on him.
And the point is good, David, because you have to remember so many of the high school players have matured after their first couple of years in the league. Amari Stoudemire has been the anomaly of that group. Here is Washington's selection at number 10. Overall, we'll round out the top 10 of this 2003 draft.
With the 10th pick in the 2003 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Jarvis Hayes from the University of Georgia.
It's been 15 years since a player out of Georgia was taken this high. Willie Anderson back in '88, but Jarvis Hayes makes it into the top 10. Dick Vitale, a young man so close to his twin brother Jonas tonight, makes the separation step into the NBA.
You know, Mike, I had a chance to do one of his big games against Florida when he hit a 12-foot shot at the end of the game to upset the Gators. He's a kid that likes the ball at the end. He's a kid that utilizes the screen really well. He defends well, and he's got great size. At 6'7", he's got that tremendous size to be a 2-guard and the range to shoot it. He is absolutely a great choice. He was one of my players that I really liked. You know, David Aldridge just mentioned, for example, Kwame Brown. He's an example of a lot of young kids where you don't understand a lot about them in terms of work ethic once they get a lot of cash. Bottom line is you get some mature players like guys like Hayes and like Heinrich. They're ready to make the adjustment and handle that situation. I think Hayes is an outstanding choice for the Wizards. Some of the choices earlier, I'm not all sold on like some of my compadres are sitting in the studio.
Jonas Hayes, we mentioned, is Jarvis's twin brother. They were at Western Carolina together, transferred to Georgia together. Then now they make the separation step. But Stewart is there with the family, Mom Yvonne, and talking with Jonas as well. Stu.
Jonas, you guys were together at Western Carolina, as Mike just said. You went to Georgia together. This would be the first time that you are not going to be with them. How are you all going to deal with that?
Oh, man, we've been talking about it for a while, so it's not as didn't come as a surprise. But, you know, we got to pick up the pieces and move on.
All right, now, according to you, you have only switched places once, according to you. Any chance you're going to shave your head and maybe just switch places with your brother once?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
All right, who's better looking?
Oh, definitely me.
All right, Michelle Tafoya may have somebody who disagrees with that. Michelle?
I don't know. Watching your family so emotional. Now, they've been following you through a roller coaster as you headed into this draft. You've been having a lot of last-minute workouts. What happened at the Washington workout that you think impressed the Wizards?
I think the way I shot the ball. You know, I came in and competed, worked hard, and showed them a couple things.
You have the opportunity to show them a lot of things. They haven't been to the playoffs. They've been there, missed it 15 of the last 16 years. New coach Eddie Jordan. Right. How quickly do you think you can make an impact on this team?
I think I can make an impact right away. You know, I bring energy, athleticism, and just energy, I guess.
A lot of people call you the dark horse. We're going to wait and watch with the Washington Wizards. Back to you, Mike.
Michelle, thank you. The prior pick was the Knicks taking Mike Sweetney. Let's lock up with the EA Sports video conference. Join the general manager of the Knicks, Scott Layden. Scott, the good news was the pick was well received here by all of your New York neighbors and friends. Did you look at all into moving up in this draft, and how serious did that come?
Well, Mike, we looked at every option, moving up, possibly moving back. But we felt that Mike Sweetney would
Thank you all if you watched this video, and I'll have more draft content out there for you all, and I hope you enjoyed all the draft content that this channel puts out there for you all, and we really want to bring you the best draft content out there, and to show you more of all the drafts across sports for you all. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a great day.
Well, there's always a lot of
God and the Lord
conversation this
bless.
time of year.
Sports draft history
But right now,
is
we're
out.
happy with our team.